Hey everybody, it's Comic Crack, back with a video that is not a room overhaul. Now that that project's done, we can get back to your regularly scheduled Comic Crack type videos. Today's is a random act of kindness video. I got in the mail this afternoon a package from JayZee. Most of you know JayZee from the comments sections of our videos. He doesn't make videos himself, a fact that I hope changes at some point. Just because I would love to see some of the things he would talk about and some of the comics he reads currently, or just get a sense of his life in comics through videos as well as through the comment sections. He's one of those guys, I mean, as I've said before, a vast majority of the enjoyment of doing these videos, I mean, I do love making the videos, as I'm sure most of us do, and kind of nerding out and talking about books that made an impact on our lives and that blew our minds when we read it, or even books that we just want to shit on. But the meat of the conversations really happen in the comments section. They happen on Twitter. They happen in forums like Castle Red Skull. And all those kind of places, and that's where a lot of the enjoyment comes from. There's a lot of just great people in our little corner of YouTube, and Johnny is kind of also in that kind of corner of the comic community YouTube that's littered with guys like Gore Vidal, Sleepy Reader, Spiro.Geek, Big Shot Comics, Earl Grey, Tim Morant, the comic book aesthete. Sorry, I butchered that name, but just there's, I think within the comic community, there's a big group of us who, while we do read DC and Marvel and books like that and enjoy them perfectly well, there's a lot of different books that we get a kick out of too. A lot of kind of indie and small press publications, both new and old. And that's kind of where my love really is, for sure. And I mean, I don't want to limit the names to just those. It's just those names are the ones that pop to the top of my head. And JayZee is really within that group of people who just read a wide range of stuff, which are the videos that I tend to gravitate towards a little more. Not that I don't watch anybody else's videos. It's just when there's options that come up in my subscriptions, I'll watch ones about some indie or small press publisher before I'll watch the Marvel DC haul videos and stuff like that, or even talking about those books. I think it just appeals a little bit more to what I read as well and what my interests are. And one thing that I do love, I think it was Mercy who even said it, Mercy or Cami said it at one point, they love the videos where I just don't give a shit about like the next big book, or which book is selling for a lot of money, or the big key issues and stuff like that. And I mean, I never really have. It's just the excitement for reading and for any form of entertainment has always been stuff that's off the beaten track. I don't know, there's just something about that. It takes a little more energy to discover, takes a little more maybe time to put into reading it. You're going to get a little more unique stories most of the time, not all of the time. I don't know, I just like that adventure. And JayZee is one of those guys who's led me down that path a number of times. Vermilion and Brain Banks being two that pop into my head just now from Helix, which is an offshoot of DC. But I mean, many books along those lines. I have lists. I have a list on my phone of comics that I'm looking for, just so I can go to one page instead of going to my CLZ app and kind of scrolling through the whole thing. I just have one note page with a bunch of titles to look for, and it's literally just titles. And if I do find the title, then I can go to CLZ to see which issues I need. And a lot of those titles that are on there are from guys like JayZee, well, specifically JayZee, actually. where he's commented on something that he's read in the past or something that he's reading now that kind of relates to whatever video he's commenting on at that time. And I love it. I absolutely love that kind of thing, because there's nothing I love more than digging at my Red River bookshop and places like that in the flea market, because they're just filled with these boxes of comics that nobody has a bit of fucking interest in but me and a couple of other people, I'm sure. I don't know, and that's kind of fun for me. So he had said when he sent this, he said, don't feel like you have to keep everything. If there's stuff in there that looks like shit, feel free to get rid of it, pass it on. And my response was kind of, I doubt that there's going to be anything like that. Just because of our back and forths, I just know that when I get a package like this, it's going to be filled with titles that I will want to check out and I will want to give a shot to. And he's done exactly what I was hoping that he would do. There's one, sometimes two issues of a bunch of different titles, and they're not necessarily right at the beginning. It's just as near the beginning as they can be, but it's just, there's a couple of issues just to give you a sense of what to expect, and what it looks like. And, that's exactly what I was hoping for. I was hoping for just a mixed grab bag of comics. So they came, I opened it already. I couldn't wait. They came in two nice, sturdy cardboard packs and then in a bubble mailer. And thank you very much for these as well as the comics, because these are going to come in handy to replenish my shipping supplies. And it turned into a stack of books like this, which is really cool. So let's have a look, shall we? The first one is, now, I was never a huge manga reader or manga reader. I did watch some anime, and I do have some manga books that I really enjoy. And I do know about Viz. Viz released a lot of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and there was a period in my life where I was addicted to that show, and I had a huge stack of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z books. They're long since gone. I've long since traded them in. And really enjoyed that at the time, drifted away from it and never really explored anything further. So even further to that point, this is something called shoujo manga, or girls comics, and they're a unique comics genre. Shoujo manga are concerned less with action than human relationships. They're far more literary than most of their counterparts for males, and unique in their visual grammar. Hardcore science fiction with a romantic twist. 11 aliens stranded in the vast loneliness of outer space. One is an imposter. 10 humanoids dream of enrolling at the prestigious galactic university. But first they must pass a most unusual and rigorous entrance exam. Which of them is posing as an applicant and why? In an emergency, anyone can call for help, but they will all fail. Creator Moto Hagio is a shoujo manga pioneer. He's considered a shoujo manga groundbreaker, acclaimed for her innovative contributions to science fiction, a major shoujo manga genre. So this is called They Were 11, and it's issue number 2 and issue number 3. I don't know what to think about this. I don't know anything about it. I don't know. It looks appealing. The style is exactly what I would expect. And again, coming from, this is absolutely nothing that I would have stopped on or thought of picking up. If I would ever see this in a bin, I would probably go straight past it. But again, because JayZee has sent this to me, I'm gonna check it out. There's something in it that appealed to him and passing it on to me. So that's really interesting. I have nothing even in any sort of understanding, any sort of scape of understanding for that. This next one is from Oni Press, and I believe it's a one-shot, because there's no number on the front. And the artist I do recognize, I just can't put my finger on what I know him from. So apparently it's pronounced Keith Yama, and it's called Gas War by Matt Howarth from Oni Press. Another one that looks really great. I had to flip through all of these just to kind of get a sense of the books, and I love the looks of the interiors of this one, the black and white. I really like it quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to reading all of these, but this one looks really appealing. Yeah, I just can't put my finger on where I know this art from. I'll have to look up his name later. Another one that had been on my radar, I just never picked it up. I remember when it was coming out from Vertigo. This is Army at Love by Rick Veitch and Gary Erskine. So this is issue number 2 from 2008. Hey, holy crap. Was it that long ago? Holy shit, man. Issue number 2 there, and issue number 3. I never gave it a shot when it was coming out. I just remember always seeing it on the shelves. But I'm looking forward to it. That'll be a good one, I think. So he gave me the 2 single issues there, and then something that he obviously picked up at a, well, not obviously, I think it was a library, selling off some books at the library. So this is Army at Love Volume 1.0, collects the first 5 issues. So that's pretty great to have the first 2 issues in floppies and then a graphic novel version for the rest of them. I'm assuming that it's the same series. I don't know why it wouldn't be. Yeah, so issue number 1. Yeah, it is the same series. So that'll be cool. That looks really great. Try that sucker out. Don't think I need to say too much about this one from Dark Horse Comics. This is Eerie number 7. Another title that I remember when it was coming out, but never picked it up. And that was, that was Bernie Wrightson on the back there. That's why I was showing you the back. What year was this one from? Yeah, July 2015, so just last year. Yeah, this one looks pretty great. Again, I mean, anthology books are always a good bet to either discover or find that one good, there can just be one good story in it and it becomes completely worth it. From First Comics, Howard Chaykin's American Flag. This is issue number 11 from March of 1989. It's one of the first comics that I don't often see when I go hunting for books. So I'm looking forward to this one. The interiors of this look pretty great too. I think it was Chaykin that was on that Satellite Sam, wasn't it? In kind of recent years. Was that last year or was that the year before? I don't remember. Maybe it was last year. So there's a look at the interiors of that. So that'll be cool. Give a shot to. This one I'm really excited about. It's going to be at the top of my pile as far as books that I'm going to read first. And it's because it's from Humanoids and distributed by Devil's Due Publishing. And this is called I Am Legion, and it's number 1 and 2, and it's from 2009. Fabian Neri and John Cassaday. Really excited about this. I mean, I associate Humanoids with Jodorowsky and Mobius and the like. So I'm very, very curious about this to see what this is going to be like. I have a feeling that it's going to be fucking great. And it's, I don't know if I said it, it's a 6-issue miniseries. So these are the first 2 issues of the miniseries. So that's right at the top of the stack. Another one that I recognize from seeing on the shelves, and again, I've never given it a shot. This is The Life After from Oni Press, and this is issue number 5 with a Nick Patera cover. Nick Patera's art always reminds me of, this guy Seth Fisher that I really loved. He's unfortunately long since passed away. but he did some great work as well. I just really liked his style. He did Batman Legends, I think it was a Legends of the Dark Knight story called Snow. He did a Flash one-shot. He did Green Lantern one-shot. He did a couple issues of Doom Patrol. Various Happy Dale, Happyville, something like that. And the interiors of this I like as well. They're kind of similar in style. Yeah, so that'll be pretty great. I've never read any Aliens versus Predator stuff, so this is issue number 7 of 12 from Dark Horse Comics, and it's The Deadliest of the Species by Claremont and Barreto. So that'll be pretty great. There's a look at the interiors of that. And this one I did previously own. I traded it in. I was drawn to it because it's Doug Mensch and Paul Gulacy, and it's Sci Spy, SCI Spy, and it's a 6-issue miniseries. So he has issues 3 and 5 that he passed on to me. I remember when I read it, I'm sure I have a video about it somewhere in the past. I just remember reading it and it not doing much for me. Maybe I'll give it another shot. Other than that, I might pass it on to the guy that's doing the convention with me. We'll see if he wants to give it a shot. I mean, there was nothing wrong with his art. I really enjoy it in here, and it was kind of the highlight of it. I just remember the story kind of falling a bit flat for me. This is from 2002, so there's the cover right there. And this, man oh man, as soon as I saw this cover, I've never read it, but as soon as I saw this cover, this era of Vertigo just holds so much memory for me. This is from February of 1994. It's issue 1 of 5 of a title called American Freak, A Tale of the Unmen. And I do remember this title really, really well from seeing it. But like I said, I had never owned any. But I mean, this era of Vertigo is just, I don't know, maybe like a good chunk of us. It just holds a lot for me as far as, this is the shit I remember growing up reading. It was Vertigo that really turned me on to some different stories. As much as I just finished saying at the beginning of this video that I tend to gravitate towards more indie publishers, that sort of thing. All of that a huge part of that came from Vertigo, and the exposure that they gave me through kind of a mainstream company to just different types of stories, different artists, different writers, stuff that has stuck with me to this day. Guys like Ted McKeever, the series Shade the Changing Man, those kind of things are all from that era and are still with me today. And I love this first page here. I love that opening shot. It's kind of a cross between Swamp Thing and Belial from Basket Case, if you've seen the Basket Case movies. I'm really, really excited about this. This is going to be second on the list to read after that Humanoids. I'm really looking forward to that one. That's a very cool surprise. And then finally, 2 issues of a book that I just talked about recently because I found them at Red River Bookshop. This is Concrete from Dark Horse Comics, issue number 4 and 5. Tim Morant, this is Tim's favorite series, and I really should just jump on getting those issues that they have at Red River Bookshop before some other knucklehead goes in and buys them, and then I miss the boat completely. I believe they were pretty reasonably priced, if I remember correctly, so incredible. I'll look for them too at the convention as well. But I'm really excited about those. Those are going to the tops of the pile as well to make sure that I read. And then there's issue number 5 there. I'll show you the back page pinups too, actually. And that one as well on the back there. So yeah, I'm super excited about this one too. It's just been, as I think I've mentioned before, it's always been one of those books that's just been on the peripheral of titles that I've been reading and have always seen ads for it, and it's always a name that I've been aware of, but I know nothing about the character, know nothing about the world, so I'm anxious to get dug into that. So there we have it. Really amazing stack of books from a really great YouTuber. And like I said, JayZee, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Didn't have to do it whatsoever, but I'm glad you did. And if you ever want to get rid of those videotapes we talked about, this guy right here. And if you don't know Johnny Zero, just chat with him in the messages. He's always around. And hopefully one day he will make some videos, even if he goes the Earl Grey Gore Vidal route, where we just see a little bit of kneecap and a hand as he's talking about some titles he's currently reading, or maybe something about some of his most favorite titles from the past, things that have stuck with him throughout his life. I think he would be a really, well, I mean, he's a great addition to the community anyway, just even in messages, even if he never makes a video, but it would be great to have somebody else to add to the rotation of subscriptions for all of us. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. Thanks a lot, JayZee, and we'll talk to you.